Who they were was my grandparents. To me, they were Iya and Baba, which is Nigerian, one of the dialects of Nigerian for mother and father. I saw them as pioneers. They took off to a country on a steamship. As I got to know more about their story, I started to realize, well, it was faith. It was a call. Thinking about it as they were bold had a huge impact on me. When you start looking at what they did when they did it, just showed how strong with the Lord they were. And that boldness is what I see here. My grandmother was here for the 40th. And I heard through my parents, my mother particularly, that she was astounded by the growth that had taken place in the 40 years since it had begun. And I think she would just be overwhelmed with where it is now. I don't think she could ever envision this building. It's just incredible. Grandfather was a carpenter. He liked to work with his hands. He liked to build things. That in the 1920s was STEM. My grandmother did such a good job teaching her children that they all excelled. The two girls were nurses. My father was an electrical engineer. So this building with the books, with the STEM aspects, it's just something that would thrill them to death. I can't think of anything that would honor them more than to have a building at this school with their name. They gave up a lot for that to address the calling, to attend to the calling that God gave them. And I fully believe God called them here, and I think this is an example of that calling. I think about the fact that their faith was throughout their life. It was the cornerstone. It was the path that God was leading them down. The innovation, the school. They weren't trained to be educators. My grandmother was a nurse. My grandfather was a pastor, but yet they saw and innovated this school. They had the vision, I think, to try to make that happen 75 years ago.